Just let me make sure. Okay, it's on. You're on. I know that's a weird countdown. Sorry. I'm going. Bye.
Well, welcome to another episode of Life Unscripted. This is Melody Garcia.
And this is Janie Lacey.
So, Janie, we are in for another exciting event this evening. This person is just beyond incredible, gifted, and amazing. I can't speak enough about him. Today, we're going to journey into the musicality world, or again, it's my first love. It's singing, it's music, but wait until you hear this man. We would love to welcome you to our show, none other than Will Gittens. Hi, Will.
What's going on, everyone? Hello.
So, Janie, would you like to tell Will about our show? What is Life Unscripted?
We are so excited to have you, Will. Since Melanie has introduced me to your music, I am a fan. And I love people that go after their passion. So I want to tell you a little bit about Life Unscripted and why it makes sense for us to even have you on our show. You know, Life Unscripted is focused to do just that. We unscript our life of limiting beliefs, perceived expectations, conditioned by society, generations, culture, religion, and ourself that prevents us from being happy and free to live the best fulfilled life in all sectors. So when people like yourself go after their passion and through your music, we can watch you on Instagram and we hear you speaking with your fans. We can see that it's your DNA, that you are in your purpose and in your passion. And being someone who has a long future ahead of them and is just getting started in the game, and you are already making such an impact. So give us a little bit history, and Melody's also going to share with the viewers your bio. But tell us a little bit about how you got started.
Well, so I was born in Trinidad and Tobago originally, which is kind of crazy. They had just had an earthquake yesterday. Did y'all hear about that?
No,
yes, we did. I did.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so I was born there, and my father. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, I'm on a conference call. Sorry, I didn't even tell my brother I'm on a conference call.
It's unscripted, Will. Unscripted.
Okay, cool. Oh, okay.
It's all good.
But yeah, so like I was born in Trinidad. My father is actually a singer-songwriter, musician. So I am, whatever everyone sees of me is just a reincarnation of what my dad was doing when he was my age. You know what I'm saying? Or when you know what I'm saying? So it's like he was in his prime and he was living in his passion, and I was born into him being in his prime. And so just imagine, like, if I had a kid right now, I don't have one, by the way, but imagine if I had a kid and they were seeing me doing this every day, doing videos, doing music, just writing and recording and doing all these things. Like, it doesn't matter if they didn't pay attention or not. It's just going to be in the background of their mind. So
yes,
that's the kind of the environment that got passed on. Man, I don't know why people are, hold on 1 second. Yo, it's open. It's open. Yo, what's up, bro? I'm on a conference call, so I'm gonna say what's up to you after. Yeah. Man, it's like everything was so quiet until all that stuff happened. But
it's called life and it's unscripted, but we go with the flow.
Yeah, let's go with the flow. But yeah. So to just answer the question, is just I just had that environment, and when I came to America, I kind of strayed away from music for a couple of years, but I just feel like you said, purpose. Like, I feel like God put me on this earth to do music, and I didn't even know that until life situations just happened, and I just gravitated right back to what my purpose is, which is to bless people through the sound waves.
To bless people through the music, but also blessing followed by your father's blessing. So I think it's important that we let people know who you are and give them some background, because Melanie and I and Life Unscripted are a fan of yours. So Melanie, could you tell the viewers a little bit more about Will?
Absolutely. So, I mean, I wish we could keep him forever, so I'm going to just take this. So for those of you who is not familiar with Will Gittens, he is a 25-year-old singer-songwriter, as he mentioned, from Trinidad and Tobago. At the recent Berklee School of Music graduate's vocal ability and musicianship has gained him worldwide recognition as an outstanding new artist. He also, in reference to social media, Janie, check this out. He is a social media sensation that has generated a heavy following of 1.6 million followers on Vine, over 143,000 on Instagram and climbing every day, over 310,000 on Musical.ly, and over 60,000 on YouTube. His smooth vocals takes you on today's hottest songs, wins the hearts of everyone that hears his voice, and he had released his EP on August 19th, 2016, which then has generated over 2 million streams on Spotify. Will is also, I think, has also now released his second EP back in January. He had shared the stage with the legendary artists such as Vince Gill, Amy Grant, Layla Hathaway, and he's also a touring guitarist, playing and recording artist with, is it Gittens?
Yeah.
And he is going to be touring the US and Europe in 2018. And after that, the rest of the world. In fact, he just came back from Africa. But, I mean, this is like a short snippet of this musical sensation. And I love the fact that you led with the fact of, you know, you're blessing others through your gifts. So we're going to pick it up from there. You said that something led to you, right? That literally carried you in this purpose. You realize what your purpose, God-given purpose is on this earth. So can you take us to that point, you know, of what was the deepest pain that became the catalyst to now this calling you have on your life?
Okay, well, the first thing that really made me just really refocus my life and figure out where everything was going. I've actually never really shared this with much people, especially my followers, but I will in the future. So I have 4 sisters and 2 brothers, but my little brother passed away in 2009. And he was special needs, so he had cerebral palsy. He couldn't talk. And so, yeah, my family just took care of him, and he passed away when he was 12 years old. So it was very sudden. He had seizures all the time, and it was just his time. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you just can't control when the timer that God has on people's life. And I thought that he would have lived longer, and I'm the one who found him, who found him dead. So that kind of was a huge turning point in my life. And I was talking to God a lot, and I just was so confused, and I was lost. I was doing a lot of sports at the time, and I realized that sports wasn't going to be what my future was. So I kind of was like, what else can I do? What else am I, like, I think that I'm talented in, you know what I'm saying? And so I just, for some reason, music just started to become a bigger part of my life. And then that's when I decided to go to music school. And the rest was history. So I would say that was the first, like, turning point of my career in music. You know what I'm saying? And the second thing being, I went on the show The Voice. You guys know The Voice. And so, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. When you're talking, we just mute ourselves so that we can hear your lovely voice nice and clear.
Oh, okay, cool. That confused me. I was like, dang, should I have to say all that? No. But yeah, so the second thing is, I went on The Voice in 2014, season 8. I went through the whole process. It was like 5 months. And as you guys can see already, I'm a person of faith. I have a strong belief in God. And so the whole time I was like, man, this is God's plan. I'm about to go on this show. I'm about to kill it. America is about to see who I am. The world's going to see who I am. And everything is going to be awesome. And I did the blind audition for The Voice, and they didn't turn chairs for me. And that was a very kind of shocking time for me. I was frozen when I sang and they didn't turn chairs. And then I was sent home. So I had just finished college at the time, and I got back to, because I was living in Boston and I had to move back to Nashville with my parents. And so I had no following. Nobody really knew who I was, but I knew I still had the talent. So I went back home to Nashville, and I wouldn't say I was depressed, but it was another point where I was just like, I thought this was what you had for me, God. Like, you know what I'm saying? What? No. And so I just went into the basement of my parents' house, and I started recording videos and doing what I do. No, and that's how I became Will Gittens, the one that everyone knows. I was in the basement of my parents' house, and I just would set my camera up like how I have it propped up right now talking to you guys, and just pick up my guitar and play. And a couple of videos started to blow up, and then the rest was history. Like, everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, you're the best thing ever," and I was like, "Woo."
You know, when we have pain and we go through trauma, right? I'm a psychotherapist, right? So, but when we go through pain and we go through trauma, you know, we usually have two choices. We can have a choice where we collapse into that pain, or we start searching. We start searching for meaning. And on that journey, you know, as you're talking about getting to that basement, I'm hearing you were down in your valley days. And sometimes when we're in our valley days, you know, and as a man of faith, in that journey is where we do discover our purpose, and that God will put us in a place where we have to lean on him, and to be at this place now. And we know that God has great, mighty things for you, just to hear your voice, and to see your passion, and to see your fans, and how you carry yourself is very authentic. So when you think about that basement, you're down in the basement, you're finding your purpose, you're thinking about the loss of your brother, which is, until people go through that, you know, it's really difficult to understand the pain. You know, if someone also losing my sister at a young age, you know, that pain is so deep. And in that darkest moment, in that deepest pain, and then through your journey in that basement, what would you say would be, if you look back now, was your aha moment, you know, and the light bulb came on and you knew that this is what God wanted you for your life, and this is where you were going to walk in, and you were going to use everything inside of you to come out lyrically, to be able to come out through your music, which comes out so passionately and so beautiful?
I would say that I don't think the aha was in the basement. I think the basement was the groundwork that needed to develop, because I'm a songwriter, and at the time I wrote a couple songs. Then this was 2014, 2015 when I was living in that basement. And it's funny because sometimes I'll tell people that that's the lowest point of my life. But then I remember somebody corrected me, and it was like, man, that's the highest point of your life, because that's the point where you didn't have anything and you made something out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? And so after doing that, it's like, oh man, I lost my train of thought. What was the question again?
Yep, you had said that the aha moment was not in the basement.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so it wasn't at that point. The aha moment for me was after I had built the following and I started to release my original material, and I had a song, and it's called "A Day with You," and that song, like you said, you're a therapist. It became therapy for people, and I had no idea that. I knew people told me that my voice was like, it was beautiful, and that, man, I'll have my baby listen to you before it goes to sleep, and it always loves when it hears you. I have a baby that's crying, and every time I play your voice, it stops crying. And it's like, but some people took the song. The song was about a long distance relationship that I had that, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I wish I could spend a day with you, you know? But a lot of people that has lost a loved one started to use that song as, man, I just lost someone, or I lost someone a couple of years ago, and I listen to this song all the time. It makes me feel better. And so I would say that was my aha moment, because I'm a people person, and I think it's amazing that something that came from a place of my hurt or pain, that I could turn that into being a healing process for someone. And I think that's what life is all about, you know what I'm saying? And that was, for me, the aha moment once I started getting that kind of feedback that the music that I was coming up with was really making a huge impact on a lot of people's lives.
Well, it has been said, Will, that rejection is only a redirection.
Oh, yeah.
So you have this wish, because the voice is a platform, but where it sounds like where God is leading you was for a more purposeful impact.
Definitely.
Because you and I are believers, along with Janie over here, and a lot of our viewers are, and listeners are as well, as that we may not see what the grand plan is in the very end, but when you look back in your life, maybe 100 years from now, 85 years from now, then you get to that aha of saying, that's why I had to be rejected from The Voice, because it would never have reached the platform. I mean, I'm reading your bio, and I mean, your Spotify downloads is over 1 million, over 2 million, and it's growing. And we don't know if that would have been the fan base. You could have been a one-hit wonder, You know, there's been a lot of artists that's a one-hit wonders.
Exactly.
But then I look
Especially
at the beauty. Yes, and then but I look at the beauty of who you are, and that was the first thing that gravitated towards me was just the pureness of your voice. I was telling Jane, it's like I can't even begin to explain his voice other than you just need to listen to this man, because
thank you.
you're welcome. To the point of the mother putting her child to sleep. The first time I heard you, it was so soothing, but it was something so different because your voice hits the soul. And in fact, before we go into the second, to the a couple of questions, if you wouldn't mind gracing us, folks that are listening on audio, folks that are watching this on video, I have asked Will, because this is one of my favorite songs, and I think it's very, this is just a poignant part of this podcast, that he can sing one of those favorite songs that I have requested, which is Hallelujah.
Okay,
So
no
we'll
problem.
take a long break for a few minutes while Will does this. Thanks, Will.
Oh, there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do you? It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty and the moonlight overthrew you. But she tied you to the kitchen chair. She broke your throne and she cut your hair. And from her lips she drew the hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
And that's the reason why, Janie. I just fell in love with this man's voice.
Yes.
So
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm like all emotional over here, just because, again, now hearing the story, I mean, we've really gone unscripted. Thank you for the world exclusive on the story behind your why, Will. I mean, that is very powerful. The gift of music for singers is a very healing.
Yeah, it is.
It is. So if we, I don't even have, I don't know what to say, because I'm just so filled right now with the love that you have. And it's so telling of the passion that that is within your voice and your song. Mm-hmm. Janie, how are you doing on your end?
I'm still hearing hallelujah in my head. So I'm back to being centered here. Absolutely beautiful, Will. You are just such a beautiful soul.
Thank you.
Stepping out and following your passion and your heart, and today sharing us with your pain and your why, I think it's going to resonate with a lot of people, because we can see people on platforms, and Melody and I who take stages and speak, a lot of people can see that front, but they don't understand the why. But when people understand the why, they appreciate you so much more. Definitely. But we also know that when we are in that that place of fulfilling our purpose, that we also come up with obstacles. So when you think about you being on this journey and staying focused to what God has for you, how do you deal with obstacles, and what does that look like?
I'd say like when I was younger, dealing with obstacles was a lot harder. I mean, I would say that my dad equipped a lot of his kids with certain I don't know. It's like my parents did a good job raising us, and so for the I would say even from when I was younger, I had a better outlook on life than most people and most people my age. And so for dealing with obstacles, I've never been the type of person to give up. And so, you know, there's the saying, like, when life knocks you down, you know what I'm saying, you're supposed to get back up. And that's always been my natural thing. Like, I just never gave up on things ever since I was younger. And, you know, there's certain things that happen in life that when it knocks you, it hits you super hard. And like one of them was, like I said, my little brother, and then The Voice. Like, I wasn't I didn't look like Superman when I got kicked off The Voice. Like, I was crying a lot, man. I was 22 at the time. I cried, you know, just to be transparent with you guys, because I saw myself be in one place and it didn't happen. And it kind of made me just sit down, you know what I'm saying? God took me, like, was like, have a seat, and really you need to, like, realize that, I am the person in control, not The Voice, not anything else, you know? And so, not to say that I was in a time in my life where I was arrogant or just thinking too highly of myself, but I say where I am now, obstacles happen to everyone, you know? And it's just about realizing that no matter how hard your life is at the moment, it gets better, you know? You know what I'm saying? It might take a couple days, it might take a week, might take a month, but, you know, through prayer and through surrounding yourself with positive people, with positive energy, and people that love you is what makes the obstacles easier, you know?
And I'm so glad that you said that, because people need to hear that obstacles are going to happen, and you keep going on, and you focus on your purpose and your passion, and you focus on your light, and,
yes.
and keep moving, because, you know, as Melody and I always have these conversations, but, you know, the higher the levels, the higher the devils, right? And they can come in all forms. And I heard this expression that someone had sent me a video about the cobras and the pythons, right? The cobra we see coming, the python, they slowly squeeze us out. So when you talk about being around positive people, we have to keep those circles tight. You got to know who's around you, and you got to know who's for you. So as you are rising up, those people that are going to be loyal to you, you know who they are, and to continue to do that, because life is going to continue to be a lesson. So when you think about, you know, you shared some major pain moments with us, you know, the loss of your brother, which I relate with that personally, and then going before The Voice, and even in this transport moment and saying, you know what, I was not Superman coming out of there. I was in tears. I was hurt. People can resonate with that, right? Because when we have our hopes up to fulfill whatever our dreams are, and they don't come in that moment, we're in that moment of pain. But where you are today, going back to what Melanie had said, in the big picture, it can probably all make sense. Because your path, God knew what your path was going to be. So when you think about, you know, you shared some of the deepest pains, but when you think about, like, where you are today, you know, when you are praying to God and you're thankful for where you are, I mean, what are some of those other, like, pain points? You know, of course, the psychotherapist in me, and I'm always about drive and understanding why people do what they do. And I know for a fact, we're either running from a pain, or we're trying to cover up a pain, or we're in our purpose. And there's no doubt that you are in your purpose. So when you think about your life journey and your family, when you're praying at night, what does that look like for you when you're thinking about those things of what you've gone through that your fans can also relate to? Because they're hearing your music, it's authentic, it's from the heart. And then there are people that are going through their own painful situations that are listening to your music because it's helping them get through. What would you say to them?
I would say to them, just, like, it's weird. I don't man, you just put me on the spot right there. I don't know, and I know I'm trying to think of something that would be a lot more elaborate than just, oh, keep going and don't give up type stuff. The most cliche things, but I would say just like I said before, it's like environment is everything, you know, and I would say there's a lot of people like that's probably viewing right now that are in abusive relationships, whether it be emotionally or physically. And I've been blessed to have be in a family that had nothing but love. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got whoopings when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? The way island people discipline the children are a lot different than, I would say, Americans. But I remember growing up, you know what I'm saying, you get a whooping for something because you did something wrong. But my dad would sit me on his lap and be like, I didn't want to do that. I did that because I love you. You know what I'm saying? And instead of me just thinking my parents would just beat me for no reason, it was because I love you. And I'm a 6'4", 185-pound man now, and I don't feel animosity towards my parents. We laugh about the times where we did stupid things and we got whoopings, but if anyone's in an abusive relationship, like whether it be a boyfriend, girlfriend, and it's sometimes when people are in those kind of relationships, they feel like they can't get out, or that they're stuck, or that they just physically just can't get out of it. But you know what I'm saying? Like, just surround, like, you don't have to stay in that. And that's just for one section, but and just in general, like environment and the energy that you surround yourself by, it's a very important thing. You know what I'm saying? And it could either be your biggest feat or your biggest downfall. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't sometimes control the people that are snakes or the wolves. You know what I'm saying? Some people might be in your camp and they are all for you, but deep down they want to see you fall. But you know what I'm saying? You could definitely, I feel like God's placed a kind of a meter in all of us. When you meet someone, there's either red flags that come up and you see immediately, or you could feel if someone's a good person or if they aren't, you know. Sometimes people ignore that if they're infatuated by them, whether it be physically or, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I feel like I'm just rambling on some random stuff.
No, God is putting the word in you, and I think someone needed to hear that. I honestly do, because toxic people, especially when you are in your gifting and you're going to continue to rise, and you're looking at your circle, insecurity cannot stand in your presence. So eventually they will fall off, right? Because you know, they have to really be secure in themselves and really be rooting for you. Yeah. And, you know, we're continuously educating and letting people know, you know, and I'm a business owner, so I deal with different types of situations all the time. So I understand that concept. So I think you were telling people what they need to hear, because we're hearing your music, but to know you as a person really makes people even appreciate hearing your songs even more. Isn't that right, Melanie?
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm going to have to say, thank goodness, Will, that we are on good energy. I'm pretty sure, you know, and as Janie is a business owner, you and I are both public figures. And we do get all sorts of fans that you get the really good feeling. I actually call it the spirit of discernment. Yeah. That's saying there's a connection that needs to be made here. And then you have the opposite of run away and run and put the walls up and the windows down. Right. And run as far as you can. But with you, and I think because there is an anointing in your life, it is felt through your music, it is felt through your character and your words. You know, I'm going to jump here, and because I saw it. You know, of course, you're going to see me and Janie go back and forth on your Instagram, because I'm going to do the @JanieLacey when I see things that are just heartfelt. And in the spirit of discernment we talked about is the fact that you just came back from Kenya, right? Tell us about what you were doing there, because one of the posts that I fell in love with was you with the locals. And you're singing and you're trying to dance or catch up with them. Which was funny.
I'll say catch up better than dancing.
If you could tell us, what were you doing there? And I think what were you doing there? What was the feeling like to see the locals and just really be one on the simplicity that they had? Because you were out in the streets.
It was actually a controlled environment, but they have this area in a building where they made it look very street-like. So that's what it looked like. But they did get street people to get in an enclosed environment because it was a television show, actually. So to answer your question, the reason I was in Kenya is this is my second time going there. The first time I went there, I was playing guitar for Gittens, and I just met some other people and made some connections. And this lady named Faiza that I became good friends with, she was putting together a show. And so she just wanted me to be the headliner. So she reached out to me and asked me if I'd be interested. And I was like, heck yeah. Like, I loved Kenya the first time I went, and I had to go back. Told my whole family about it. I want my whole family to go there together one time. That's how much I love the place. The energy there was crazy, and the people there are beautiful. And so, yeah, I went out there to do a show, and I wanted to take my full band, which is a 3-piece band, but they had the budget for just 2 people. So of course I took my big brother, and so we did a duo show. And so my brother is and he's my blood brother, and he produces most of my music. So it's a blessing to be able to do music with my blood brother. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that experience was amazing. And that video that I posted of them dancing to that song was one of the highlights of the trip, because yeah, I started playing. The DJ at the TV shows, we sent them the song and he started playing it. And I've never seen physically how people would react to the music. You know, and it was just so cool, because if you would have asked me, I would have just stood there and just danced side to side or something like that. And it was just so cool to see the kids have their own interpretation and just come up with stuff on the spot. And just, if you look at the video, when I looked at it, I was smiling the whole time. So I was like, I have to post this, because I know I looked like an idiot half the time trying to do the dances that they were doing. But I don't know. Like, if anyone watches that, it's probably hard to not smile. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not scared to try and learn how to do a dance move. And I just thought it was beautiful, because it just shows part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? They just love to dance, and they like very uplifting, up tempo music. So I don't know. Kenya is awesome.
Yeah, well, I think it was more than just the tempo of the music. It was the love they had for your presence.
Definitely.
That was out there. And this, again, and if you, okay, folks, so listeners, viewers, I want you to follow Will Gittens and look for that video on Instagram, because it was also in the simplicity of how their lifestyle is, completely remotely, you know, on a different level. Where here you hear the hustle, you want to, you know, living the best life and all that other stuff that you hear. But then you see the simplicity of just their souls and how they love you. They love what was happening right at that given moment. And they had no cares in the world.
Definitely.
And I think, you know, to me, living the best life is being happy, fulfilled, and peaceful. And it showed on that video.
Definitely.
So, part of your world tour, Will, you know, you've picked up some lessons as you're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Can you tell us or share with us a nugget of, you know, that moment you first landed in Kenya or any other foreign country, where you really said, oh my goodness, my music can really impact and you know, move lives?
You asked me at what moment when I was in one of these foreign countries that I realized that it could like have an impact, you said?
Yes, like that really truly moves lives. Yeah, sometimes we're here in the U.S. space and you're singing to, you know, cameras. You really don't understand until you're in front of these, you know, these individuals.
Well, yeah, no, for me, like, I think, honestly, it's harder to please American consumers and artists and listeners. And I've seen that firsthand because, like, just last year I did a show in London, right? So, London. Yeah. And London is actually where one of my biggest fan bases is. And I remember I did a small show at a bar, like capacity was like 250 people. And they, I didn't know. I saw on the numbers, you know, sometimes you see demographics and you don't know how it's going to work out. I was like, hey, I'm doing a show. I did one video promoting it. And it was 2 days before the show. I was like, hey guys, I landed in London, like hope to see y'all there tomorrow. And then I remember I didn't go to the venue. I went to the venue, but I wasn't in the actual performance part. I was in this separate room. I wasn't nervous, but I was thinking, I was like, man, I wonder if there's like at least 100 people there. And so I remember it was time for me to come to the show. And I walked up the stairs and the place was packed out. You know what I'm saying? It was capacity. And just before I even started the show, I was kind of in awe. But during the show, it was the first time I've ever experienced people singing some of the songs I've written word for word. And it was kind of funny because, you know, Spotify will show you your popular songs and the ones that people are not really listening to that much. And there's certain songs that never heard or seen someone like sing the words back like verbatim. And I remember like there was a whole bunch of people, but there was one girl sitting in the front, and she was with her boyfriend, and she was literally singing word for word. And it's funny because I almost messed up the song because I was staring at her. I'm like, this girl is literally singing every single lyric to my song. And I know it does. I sound excited because I still think about it, and it makes me happy because, you know, people don't understand with songwriters and musicians, like, we put our all into, and we put a piece of our soul into the music. You know what I'm saying? And when it's being reciprocated in the way that we would dream, it's like it's you can't even explain it. You just feel so much like appreciation. You know what I'm saying? And it's like fulfillment because you're just like, man, I spent time. I recorded this song. I wrote it. I had money to mix it. I got people to mix it and master it, and just a song that took a couple $1,000 or a couple $100 to do, and it comes out being 99 cents. You know what I'm saying? For people to just click on, but they don't know the whole process of it. So when you see people just singing it word for word, it's so awesome. And just to have the same thing in Kenya, you know, them just singing a lot of the lyrics to my songs, and it's just awesome. It makes it so worth it.
I'm certainly sure that it makes it worth it just sitting there and seeing them.
Yeah.
You know, you and it's a blessing. You mentioned that you have your brother who also produces music. So to give us a little bit of insight to Will's life, how many siblings do you have, and are they all musical like yourself?
So I have 4 sisters, and I have a brother now. And so it used to be 7, but now it's 6 because of the passing of my little brother. But my brother and I are super musical. All of us have, like, remember how I told you how I was doing sports and stuff, and then I tapped into music? Mm-hmm. My big brother did the same thing. We've all were like super sports jocks, like amazing at sports. And what's crazy is all 3 of my little sisters are, like, one graduated from University of Southern Alabama, and she had a full ride playing volleyball. And now she's a fitness trainer.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the middle sister, she's 20 years old, and she's at the University of Texas A&M. And she was the #1 recruit in the nation for track. And God keeps her healthy. She's going to be in the 2020 Olympics in Japan.
Wow.
Running for Trinidad and Tobago, which is absolutely amazing. And then the baby, her birthday is actually tomorrow. She's about to turn 16, and she's the tallest one all of them. Like, it's crazy seeing how much she grows every time I go back home. But she's playing volleyball as well, and looks like she will probably be getting a volleyball scholarship by the time she's a senior. And so we're all, like, talented in sports, but everyone could sing. And there's a couple videos of my family on my Instagram. If you go dig deep around Christmas time, we always do, like, a video of us singing some carols and stuff. So yeah, that's how you could see that the whole the family is talented.
That is a beautiful thing that everyone is doing their thing. You're all supportive of each other, and your family does sound love. It sounds like there's nothing but love and support, and to have that tribe around you. So to stay in the mind of Will, if you take us a little journey, when you think about your music and the things that you've shared with us, what's been deeply personal to you? You know, a lot of times there's, in our songs, and people, when they're writing and they're singing music, there's usually something in there that's more personal, that resembles your journey. What song would that be?
I would say two songs that if you listen to, I would say 3 of them. Three songs that if you listen to, you will kind of see just like something that's specific. It's so weird, man. I feel like there's a lot of songs that I have that are kind of personal, but the one that's the most personal that people resonated the most is the Day With You one. The one that I told you that people were like, man, like, oh, this is such a healing song for me. Yes. But the other one is called Forget About You. And I wrote a lot of these songs from my ex-girlfriend who I was with for 4 years. And it's crazy, like, the time I wrote some of the songs, like, I was either almost on the brink of breaking up or a couple months after. But I think that the pain of leaving that relationship, even though I'm cool, no, I'm not. I still don't like know what I'm saying, I have love for her, but I don't have any ties with her anymore. I could still tap into that hurt, you know what I'm saying, to write a song, you know? And so yeah, a lot of those songs is that's why a lot of people could relate to it, because a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, most people experience relationships, whether it be boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband and wife. And actually just yesterday, somebody on Facebook, a guy hit me up and he said that he listened to the song Forget About You. And that's like, the title is confusing because you're thinking I'm going to say forget you or forget about you. But the song is Forget About You, I Can't Forget About You. And it's like, it's really saying like, I know you messed me up, and I'm not perfect either, but you did a whole bunch of this stuff, and it doesn't matter what. I keep thinking that I always look at the good rather than the bad, and that it doesn't matter what the situation is, I can't forget about you. And I wrote the song like a year and a half ago, and it's kind of how I was feeling. It's like, even though somebody hurt me and I know that she's not good for me, it's just like, I can't really stand to see her with someone else and see her happy with someone. You know, it's just some real stuff that everyone thinks about. And sometimes as men, people are scared to show their emotional side. And I'm not scared to do that. I'm very comfortable with who I am. And I would be the person to say those things. And a lot of guys actually are the ones that will be like, man, dude, this song is exactly how I'm feeling. And I wish like I was able to say that, but this is exactly how I'm feeling. So I think that's really cool.
Well, I'm going to jump in here because of the fact that you said, you know, some pivotal keys. You're a singer-songwriter. Another part that I could relate to is you write from the heart. And I think it's in the pain connectivity, and I've said this a few times in this podcast show, we all connect through pain. And I love the fact that you are being just so transparent with us to say, hey, you know, I can tap into music, I can tap into song, I can write into this, because I can still tap into that pain and feel it. You know, it's that ouch moment.
Yeah, definitely.
We can all relate to that ouch moment that still can bring tears, you know, when you really dwell in it. It's a great segue, Will, for me to now ask you to grace us with another song. This time it's your choice. Artist choice is what I say. Out of the, you know, you mentioned 3, but feel free to sing whatever it is that your heart calls you to do right now.
Okay, I wrote this song about women appreciating their natural state, their natural beauty. You know, how Instagram, there's a lot of people that do a lot of filters and a lot of makeup, which looks great, but it's just I'm a person that appreciate women at their natural like state, which is beautiful to me. And so this is a song that if you feel like you're not pretty, you should listen to it. Have you forgotten who you really are? Cause if you did, girl, let me remind you that you're a star. Yeah, and even if you don't agree, let me paint a picture of what I see. Cause girl, baby, you don't need filter, cause your beauty is already there. And I will always be the first to let you know that you're already perfect. Girl, you're already perfect. You don't need no filter. That was just like a first person chorus.
Well, thank you. I don't need any filters.
You don't.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I appreciate that message because like you said, you know, with Instagram, with social media, we can make ourselves whoever we want to be, and we're losing our authentic self. So from a man to say to women that you appreciate who you are and your natural beauty and that you don't have to pretend to be all that stuff, I think can resonate deep with a lot of women. So
definitely
appreciate that message.
Of course.
And I think there was a joke that I just sent Janie. He appreciate this. That it's I saw a meme, you know, to the credit of your music, that says women do not do video conference calls or will not get on video calls after 9 p.m. because their face resets to factory settings. And when I read that, I started laughing. But you know what? There is, with the world that we live in, with all the filters that are out there, right? And it's not only filter for physical appearance, it's even filters on social media where there's a lot of posts that are not really, true to the lifestyle that they have. As then we have this guest, Janie, that just comes as a fresh of breath air, especially in the industry that you are in. Because again, it goes back to your point earlier, Will, that, you may have been so hurt and you feeling rejected for that big syndicate show to not accept you. But we also know that in that industry, there's a lot of control over, you're basically a property, what you can sing, what you should sound like, what type of music should be putting out there. And if you look at that, it is not in alignment to where you're at now with all the freedom that you have in sharing your message and the healing journey through your song. So I'm glad in a way that, it may have hurt back then, but this is the unfiltered. How does this go? We go from unscripted, life unscripted, to Will Unfiltered. To Will Unfiltered, because look at the lives you're touching. And it's, when you have somebody from London that almost threw you off your singing game because she knew the lyrics and you're watching her sing the words that you penned.
Yeah.
That says something on the love they have for you. So I'm glad that God is always the God of order.
Definitely.
At the end of the day, God is the God of order. And I know that he wanted us to, Janie, I know Will wanted us to take the 3 points just to how we can find him, how we can follow him, and anything else that you want to cover at the end of this, Janie.
Yeah, so one of the things that we've gotten to know you about is that you have a lot of original music, and Melody and I are going to be a lifelong fan, so we are going to be with you on this journey, and hopefully we will be seeing you very soon among other things. So where can we let our viewers and our listeners know where they can find your original music?
Okay, well, so it's just based on wherever they stream music. Of course, it's available for purchase on places like iTunes, Google Play, excuse me, Amazon, and just other places. Like if wherever you listen to music, Spotify, Napster, Deezer, Tidal, it's literally everywhere. You can even find it on YouTube if you don't have any of those things. You could find my music anywhere. Just type in Will Gittens. I have 2 EPs. If you don't know what an EP is, it's like a miniature album. So I have 2 EPs out and I have 4 singles. So that's a total of 15 songs that you could go listen to. A lot of them is super different. I'm a very versatile artist, so you're gonna get a little bit of everything. So yeah, that's where you can find it. And as far as social media, my name is Will Gittens. If you don't know how to spell Gittens, it's like kittens but with a G. So Gittens. No, you won't forget, right? I tell it, right? Because everybody likes kittens, so why would you forget? But yeah, so that's where you can find me, Will Gittens, and that's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, anything. Just Will Gittens. I'm easy to find.
Easy to find. And Melanie and I will be posting pictures of your album and links so that we can make sure that everyone definitely finds Will Gittens like kittens.
Yes.
Love it. So then what are some of the things that you're going to be doing this last quarter so that we can stay attuned to what's going on in Will Gittens' life?
Well, there's a lot of things that I actually can't speak on just of yet. I'm a big person on I don't like to speak on things until it's like fully manifested, like, or, you know what I'm saying?
Right way. That's the right way to do it, Will.
Yeah, anyone that's been in any kind of business, they know that it's a smart thing to do because you don't want to look stupid or speak on something before it happens. But there's a lot of cool things in the works. I'm actually, since I've been back from Kenya, I'm starting to record a lot because I've done a lot of writing with a good friend of mine named AJ and my brother. So we've been doing a lot of writing and producing of new material. And actually right there, I'm looking at, we have a what do you call it? A board? like a board where you write down your goals. What do you call that?
Like a vision board?
A vision board.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of had to read.
Love it. You're a vision boarder. Love it.
Yeah. And well, I'm new to it, so don't think that highly of me. But yeah, so I just wrote down a lot of the songs that I have to prioritize and get recorded before the end of probably September. So there's a lot of cool music, a lot of collaborations with other artists and stuff. So just stay tuned. I'm always dropping some heat.
And well, we will definitely stay tuned and follow you and help promote you and do whatever we can to support your vision, because we believe in those that have purpose and passion and that are spreading, love and freedom and just all the things that are within you, inside of you. So we absolutely enjoyed having you today, and we look forward to continuing following you. So Melody's going to close us out, but I want to tell you, it's been an honor to meet you and to learn more about Will the person. I have so much more respect for you and for your music and for your craft. And we are here. Life is unscripted, so things will continue to happen, but we are here to support you. Isn't that right,
Janie? Thank you, Janie.
And we will see you here in the Orlando space. We may have to change venues just to accommodate the fan club that's coming in for Will. Like, what conference is about Will Gittens at this point?
That's right. Janie and Melanie, who? Will's coming.
The ushers? No. Is that Will? Thank you again so much for your time, for your gift, for your transparency, for an exclusive, behind the scenes look of who the man is behind the music, and what serves to inspire his journey, and the burning why that you have. So thank you for your gift of time, because as we know, time is something that we can never get back. We hope that just beyond being fans, we count us as friends.
Awesome.
We're going to have to bring you back for a different conference on that.
Okay.
But at anything that we can do to support your journey. So to our listeners and viewers out there who will be viewing this later on, our podcast show is at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday as we ease out of the week and into another week. And what a beautiful gift it is to just be able to do this, share the message with all because people connect through music as well. So Will just gave us, it was such a blessing of your presence. For those, don't forget to rate, review, write, and spread the word about Life Unscripted, because this is a brand new journey for us. And when we're bringing the star powers, unbelievable star powers, it's not because of the fact that, it has nothing to do with just our ratings. It has everything to do with the fact that this is alignment, because it's supposed to impact the millions of listeners through positive messages and enforcement that you are not alone, that life could be completely unscripted, but you have examples like our guests, such as you, Will, that says it's all part of the big plan.
Thank you so much.
This is Melody. Until next week, Janie, I will see you then. And Will, you have a blessed journey, and we are here to support you 100% of the way.
I appreciate it. And thank you guys for your time. I really appreciate it.
This is Life Unscripted. Until next time.
Until next time. Karina.